Me right now is Trump surrogate John LaValle. John, thanks so much for joining us. We wanted to begin it on this because this is something I don't know that all the viewers really understand. Do you think this is an effort to register new voters who would possibly vote for Hillary Clinton, or is it to just push through Obama's agenda before he leaves office?
Well, of course it is, because every year is an election year in the United States of America. This is a presidential election, and they're pushing to do this. Now, recently, over 800 people were admitted as citizens improperly. It just shows that the president and Hillary Clinton, they're not committed to keeping America safe. They're rushing this through, and they're doing it on the taxpayers' dime. This is overtime. That's time and a half in America.
This is incredible.
Well, yeah, I think it also, this kind of story, I think, feeds into Trump with people who may welcome immigration like I do, but they don't like a sort of culture of lawlessness. You go back to the Obama executive order and this news that we're giving citizenship to people who accidentally,
They were supposed to be deported. And then they got citizenship.
Right, and then you have the question, is it because they care, it makes it look like less like, oh, we care about immigrants, a little more like a political move, right? Isn't that what it looks like?
They want more Democratic voters.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they want, and it's quite offensive. I mean, at a time when we're thriving to make this country safer and protect the citizens of this country, to do something like this, especially on the taxpayers' dime where we're having a rough economy right now, terrible thing to do. It's wrong.
So there's two ways to look at it. There's sort of two lenses. There's that they're looking for more voters, and then there's the national security front, where people are really afraid of processing new immigrants too quickly. Which lens should we be looking at this through?
Both. I mean, this is a concern. We can't rush these things. We need to properly vet individuals that are coming into our country. That's how we're going to keep the country safe. We also shouldn't be, doing this, like I said, on the taxpayer dime. I mean, it's offensive at every level to run people in here so they can vote. But it shows how desperate they are. It shows how much Donald Trump is on message, and he's resonating with the American people, and exactly why he's going to be the next president of the United States.
What are N-400 cases? Who are they?
Yeah, explain
that they're looking at.
It's a certain category.
Right?
Yes, it's a category, but, these are people of concern. Anyone who's coming to our country right now is a person of concern. We have been, miscategorizing people for a while now. We're rushing things. We're in a hurry. For what purpose? I don't know. But our ultimate goal, and both campaign's ultimate goal, should be to protect this country, to revise our immigration process in America. They're not doing that. They don't care. They want to win the election at all costs.
I mean, would you categorize this as voter fraud? I mean, people are worried about voter fraud, and they're trying to get as many Democratic voters in there as possible before November 8th.
I don't know if I'd call it voter fraud, because if they are individuals who should properly be let into America, I agree.
But we
are a nation of immigrants. We welcome immigrants, but properly, and proper vetting first and foremost.
Well, in terms of the political edge, most people do not want to stop immigration. They don't want to kick everyone out.
Agreed.
But what is probably the most popular position of Donald Trump is to aggressively vet people coming from countries with a history of terrorism. Now, I'm not saying that's this group we're talking about right here, but if you're saying we're inadvertently making people citizens, if you're saying we're going to rush applications through in a political year, why? What is the
what's the rush?
What's the rush on that, right? I think that's where it really becomes a powerful issue for Trump.
Well, and isn't this a total contradiction? Because Hillary this week was talking about she's all for proper vetting right now. All of a sudden she has language that's very similar to Donald Trump. And doesn't this completely contradict that she's saying that we're for proper vetting when we're rushing people through?
Like many other things Hillary Clinton does, there is a tremendous contradiction in what she's doing. And no, she is not in favor of proper vetting. They are in favor of letting refugees into this country. They are in favor of rushing this immigration process. And it's offensive, but this is a great example for the American people. It couldn't happen at a better time, in one sense, to show the American people who is really committed to protecting America and who is really committed to America's future.
But do you think people are paying attention to that, or do you think they just look at something like this and it's a little too hard to understand and they're just kind of taking her at her word?
Well, they're not going to take her at her word. That's impossible at this point.
I know, but
really, 70% of the people don't take her at her word at this point. It's concerning. It is on their minds. This is important. I mean, safety of our families, our economy, being able to feed our families, and the safety of our families, protecting our children, is of utmost importance. We saw what happened in New York, New Jersey, Minnesota. These are issues of grave concern to Americans. We want it to stop, and we want it to stop now.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, the N-400 is the application for naturalization. So this is your basic form to become a citizen. That's what we're talking about.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for giving us that. John, good to see you.
Thank you
so much. John LaValle joining us there. And